teachers and Fluky Luke. And by the way, rest in peace, Rerun, because he's no longer with us. I went up to Rocksteady's anniversary at the Manhattan Center. And also for those who don't know, Flowmaster, also known as Jerry, was one of the dancers that used to hang out with us, you know, before he became like the b-boy that he is now in locking. He would actually used to hang out with us as a house dancer with Corey and Mitch, again with Brent and Josh, Archie, Natural Elements. Through that, through Natural Elements, Brent's crew, I met Chaz. So long story short, I was getting off at that time. I was working at the phone company, and Fred Berry was sitting on a stoop. And just before that year, I went up to New York, and Flo was there, Shakalak was there, all these famous people. And I was like, I had my big hat on and my gloves, and I was just shook. Mariah Carey was there, Mop Top. I was like, man, I paid $40 to get in here. I paid all this money for parking, and believe it or not, as much as I loved house and dancing and being in the cypher, I didn't dance. I didn't dance. However, the opportunity that I had to meet with one of the original lockers set me free, not just for locking, but for everything that I do as a dancer. And after getting with Rerun and Fluky Luke, which is ironic that he was actually in Baltimore, one-on-one was historic for me. You know, it's just like having an opportunity to learn directly from Bojangles, you know, as a tap dancer, or to work with Baryshnikov. You know, you don't have to be with those individuals every day forever, but they have so much knowledge. And I just want to say this, we have a lot of people who have YouTube hits and dance behind artists and choreographers out in LA and up in New York, but the people who paved the road, really, for us to be here in this underground, those pioneers, if you ever get an opportunity to talk, to watch, to dance with, or to learn from, take that opportunity now, because they're not going to always be around for you to learn. You know, soon it's just looking in the book, you know, or looking on video. You know, so take that opportunity to travel. Also, you know, I just want to say that it takes two, you know, a good teacher and it takes a good student, you know, to learn. It's a two-way street. And sometimes you might have to travel, you know, a little bit, but it's worth it. So yeah.
I've never, ever since I started this, I've never looked at it like, yes, I did say that my first initial contact with movement, dancing per se, started out with the Running Man. I've never taken any classes. It's basically, it's like you take what you discover and you run with it and you make something out of it pretty much until you own it. So there's not this way of doing it, or there's no form. It's like if you're able to absorb every little bit, every nuance of everything that you've ever seen. I'll give you an example. I was, when the whole rave scene started, I bought like the Jenko jeans, you know, the little big ones. I wasn't great, but I love the freaking jeans because they remind me of like the samurai pants. So I'm going to this club one day. I had on these Adidas and it was raining and the bottom was very slippery. As I'm walking by a club, I'm walking on one of the metro grates. As I'm walking on it, I started slipping. Believe it or not, I turned that into a dance move. Just that simple. Just the way I was about to fall and caught myself. It'll work. I need to find the right song to be able to do that to. It's real simple. Like, for me, like those times, like dancing itself, it turned I mean, pretty much it turned into like a monster for me. I had to have it. It's not something I was practicing. I was breathing it. I started going to clubs like when I was like as a junior in high school. I woke up one day in one of my classes, everybody was gone. I'm freaking drooling on the desk. So I got up, went to lunch. But this was like my experiences. Like I would go to work, put my clothes in my book bag, get off work, go to the club, 16 hours straight. I took a big golf cup, squeezed one of my shirts, and I filled it up, just to let you know like how intense it was for me. I used to go to clubs. I used to wear like weight vests underneath my clothes. I had ankle weights. And so in my mind, what I was doing, the process was, and this was just to further like how I got in tune with like just how much I was doing it. I took off the vest. I actually saw myself, passed by myself. I put the weights back on. That's how fast I was moving. I was like, nah, it's not supposed to be like this. But dancing was, it's a very special place in my heart. Actually, as I was telling JoJo, this is like the first time ever I've actually spoken up on it because the way it makes me feel, the experience that I've had with it, and the people that have been part of it, some of them are still here, some of them are gone, rest their soul. There's no words to describe it, so I've never tried to. I've just evolved with it. That's why I'm DJing right now, because I took that, like, now that I'm like, at this point my question was, okay, now I want to know what it is this person was doing as a DJ to make me feel the way I do, for me to move. And that was my stand-up point from being a dancer to becoming a DJ. It's just a further development. Just because I'm not moving doesn't say I don't dance anymore. You know what they say, a body at rest remains at rest, a body in motion remains in motion. If you think about that, you're always a dancer, whether you're moving or not.
I remember the first time I saw Collins. He had the weight vest on, and he had ankle weights on. And there's two people that are not here. They're my brothers, and we kind of follow the same path. They're also brothers with Brent. And I looked at Monte. I said, and he had on headphones and sunglasses in the club, right? So this is how eclectic this mix is. And he was jumping as high as I was jumping with the weight vest on and the ankle weights. I'm like, and he's beautiful in black, and I'm like in the club. I'm like, this is Father Africa here. Because remember, I told you I was a country boy, so I've never seen all of this eclectic, beautiful, colorful people of all backgrounds, races, genders, and everything else, right? So when I first started dancing, I danced hard. I was trying to, every time I put my foot down, I was trying to crack the earth. Straight up. Right? And then, this is going to answer your question about how do you pick and codify what dance styles and what makes up and what, So pretty much my background, being that I was polarized, my dad put me into martial arts to make sure I could always protect myself. So I started off with karate, Wing Chun, Tiger Crane, Hung Gar, Kung Fu, and stuff like that. So I had a lot of martial arts background that I just kind of kept close to myself. And then when I started hanging out with Javon and going to all these different places and these clubs and everything, it was still there. But then for me, where the journey where it kind of split from just club dancing and then going into where I actually have a bachelor's of fine arts in dance choreography, was that I went to an African dance class. A friend of mine needed a ride down to VCU. I went in there, and all I heard was like, I'm walking up the stairs. I'm like, this is kind of, where am I going? Pafina Williams is taking me up here. She's like, Carlos, you'll like it. You're a hip hop dancer. This is African. This started it all. This is where it all started in Africa. I'm like, okay. But all I know is I'm doing Running Man. You can't tell me nothing. You African ain't got nothing on Run. African ain't got nothing on MC Hammer. So I get up there, man, and it is like 20 djembe drums. Now I don't know how many people have taken any African dance in here, but when you go in there with a sidebar, or you got 20 drums coming at you, I had a spiritual shift. I walked through the door and I was like, it was James Brown, it was Fela, it was Femi, it was like anybody that's African was pouring through my body. It was like the Matrix. I was like, wow. And that was the summer I changed. And then from that day, I went home and I told my mom, I said, Mom, I know I'm going to school for business administration, but I want to be a dancer. She's like, well, boy, y'all running all up and down the road anyway. You might as well go to New York and dance. I was like, well, maybe I'll start here. I called. I had a private audition. Then a month later, they said, hey, you got a full scholarship. And that's when I started dancing. So, people seen the story, but like my brother's Tony Kundu, he is the hip-hop godfather in India. I think y'all know, he wasn't able to be here, so kind of stepping in for him and stuff like that, but big up for him. But it is just so crazy that all of that became a centrifuge. To get back to your question, sorry if you don't want to go too long. But it's any and everything. Because if this is what we'll say, goes along, whether you just come from the streets or whatever, you do want to find teachers. Right now, I come up every other Sunday because there's no dance in Richmond. So I'll go to 18th Street Lounge. I'll drive 2 hours, be a road dog, road warrior. That's how intense it is for me. I'll drive 6 hours every couple of months to go to the underground, to go to shelter, to go to, back in the day it was Cafe Con Leche, it was Barbara Tucker's underground party behind closed doors in Brooklyn. Speed for a little while, but that's how, and that's to say, yeah, we're extreme. That's how intense it is for us. I know it's extreme for y'all. But I say, what y'all say, turn up? Turn up. Turn up. Turn up the volume higher. I'd love to see when we leave here, turn it up another notch. Any venue, I don't care whose crew it is. I don't care whose set it is. Show and turn up, show love to all of it. Because straight up, for real, I'm going to say this all night. Turn up to every venue. I don't care whose crew it is, this set, that set, because you have to support dance in the underground. The reason that you see what you see, I'm not going to get into, but back in the day, there were people that would come to the underground with video cameras. Next thing you know, you see it on the video on TV. He'll tell you the truth. That's how grimy it used to be. Like they would say, look, we're going to go to the underground because they know it's hot. Y'all got it. Y'all got it. So now it's because technology you have the availability, you're able to market yourself a whole lot better as dancers and stuff like that. But hey, if you know somebody has some knowledge, go get it. Now, take African. Take it in its real form. And then it's going to become part of your body. So when you express it, it is what it is. Take ballet in its real form. With the ladies here, when I first went to ballet class, I didn't know what a dance belt was. For men, a dance belt is the thing that holds all your parts in order so it makes a nice form. So it's not offensive. All right? I didn't know that. My teachers had to be like, Carlos, we need you to talk to the male dancers. So he's got to explain. Because, I'm a country boy. I'm just like, so it felt weird because, like he said, I'm the, dude, and I'm, got the little thing in the booty, okay. But you know what? Like I said, I'm extreme. I go hard. So then I had to do the time and releves. But you know what? I love it and embrace it because then what happens is as you take it in its form, popping and locking, you take it in African, you take it in modern, you take it in ballet, it becomes your own voice. I'm also a drummer, you know what I'm saying? I carved my first djembe drum, so I'm extreme. You know, live in those extremes and it becomes a centrifuge, which you mix it up and then you just, So then when you're pouring your heart, there's the spiritual body-mind connection that when that music comes on and that person's over there and they're helping elevate you. Don't think about it as battling. When I'm in the circles, man, I'm elevating. I don't battle nobody no more. I'm like, inspire me. I mean, that's what I would love for everybody to say. Hey, inspire me, brother. Ooh, goodness gracious. That's like some greens, boy. Put it on the stove for me. Turn it up. Yeah. That's how you reach your brothers and sisters in this circle, because that's a circle. Like all this cipher comes from Africa. That is real. In all cultures, we come together in a circle because it's family, because it's about expression, about love, that I want to make sure you're in peace and we're encompassing. The circle is encompassing. And it's an exchange. And that's what you really have to understand. That, yeah, it's about, you know, the warriors in Africa doing Dunaba. It's like we getting amped up because we got to go protect our land. And it's like, yeah, we getting ready with this. So that's how you want to feel like I'm turning my brother up because I want to inspire him. I'm not trying to battle him. I'm not trying to degrade him or make him look down or lesser. I want him to raise on up. But there we go. Next question.